Good afternoon. How are you all doing today? Yes, no, maybe, not sure. Too much of Ayurveda happening. You're completely blissed out. Where are you guys? Okay. So if you're meeting for the first time, which I do think we are, my name is Avi. I'm a yoga psychologist based in Romania, Europe. But I do work with wonderful people from across the world. And I happen to work also with Indus Valley. And today we are gonna explore this great, wonderful topic, instant solution to the modern problem. Please don't mind my handwriting. These are just a hand scribbled note, no font as such. And I just took the notes so that I can remember and I can go with the talking in a very fluid manner. So the aim will be just in about 40 minutes, we have to identify solutions that are hidden in our ancient wisdom or the lifestyle and the stories and the myth that our forefathers have lived. It's kind of a big promise, but before we jump into that, kindly invite you to talk, because it makes so much easier to not to talk to a screen and us to have a dialogue and to know your side of the story as well, because maybe I'm completely spaced out and what I think as a problem is not at all a problem for you. You are already living a very elevated lifestyle. That's possible, huh? I'm not doubting that. So, but when I try to identify what are the problems in this modern society, this is what crosses my mind: burnout, being tired, disconnected, and the foggy mind. Most likely you haven't experienced any of this, but you must be knowing a friend of yours who experiences similar symptoms. From time to time, they feel disassociated, struggles in finding a meaning, why I have to go to my work, why I have to log in and write reports, do presentations, or carry on with my family responsibilities and whatnot. And all of these things can create a sense of a foggy mind, take us away from our essence, feel disconnected from what we need to do, what we must do. And of course, it goes with a lot of tiredness and feeling fatigue or burnout. That's the modern word. So by any means, do you relate with any of these words? Have you ever known anybody who might have experienced this? No. Oops. Okay. I'm an hardcore Indian. So as an Indian, I love nodding head, so it's like this, and this is so nice. If you do that from time to time, I know at least you're not sleeping and I'm not talking to an AI. So please maintain doing that from time to time. It feels comfortable. Now, without wasting any further ado, I think when we talk about our modern problems, these things that I said, they're like a burnout, being tired, being disconnected, foggy mind, they're not necessarily other problems. They are the symptoms of the problem. And the true problem might be much deeper, which we might be able to identify or not. We don't know yet. But the invitation is to, if we can go deeper and take a closer look. So a bit of a time traveling. Let's travel back to our ancient time and see if we can pick any information from there, what many things that has happened in our past, and some of you might be exposed to the to those stories, to those information, and let's see if we can find something from there. And that would be, if we look into these scriptures, Mahabharatas, Ramayanas, if you're having an Indian background, you might have heard stories from those great books, Puranas. From the West, you have heard stories from Bible or various other Greek literatures. Now, if you notice, the problems that those guys faced, they were not necessarily very different than us. They also went through the legal battle among brothers. They also needed to raise a voice against their parents and grandparents, and even go into fist fight and war. And that's what Mahabharata is all about. The Ramayana, we look into this in mid of all the adversity, how a person can maintain equilibrium and serenity. That's what it teaches to us. Maybe I'm sure I'm oversimplifying this information, and mostly due to the lack of time. But if you look through these scriptures, we understand that it's not necessary when we are looking back into those pages of history. The life was beautiful there. They didn't have any problem. They had problem of their own. It's not like the problem of our age. It's not how many followers we have. My selfie doesn't look good. The picture is blurry, or I don't have a Wi-Fi network. God knows what are our problem in today's time. But they had their own set of problems, and they struggled as well with something that many of us are struggling here, which is work-life balance. Yeah, and in almost in every single scriptures of this, there is an attempt where the masters, the seers, they tried to teach a lesson on how you maintain the work-life balance. And there's this beautiful Sanskrit word, it's called dharma. Yeah, which very often we translate the word dharma as a religion, or the sect we belong to, or the kind of spiritual practices we do. But in true sense, that is not necessarily what the dharma means. Dharma is more of what are my inherent, natural, spontaneous behavior. That's more swadharma though. So what is the righteous thing that I can do in any given moment? The scriptures guided us to, okay, come back and explore your dharma, and maybe you will have an aha moment. Maybe you will pick something from there and you see, okay, yes, there's a room for some fine tuning in certain part of my behavior or actions or my thinking pattern or my life philosophy. And we could try to do this. Now, once said that, when we break it down from this philosophical aspect to something very actionable stuff, you will notice that all these scriptures, they kind of guide you to one simple thing. And they say, don't pour in a full cup. You have to empty your cup before you can pour it. So empty yourself is something that is highly recommended. And the practices that are coming from yoga and Ayurveda and most of the Sanatan Dharma are a lot around this. You know, there's this famous saying by Bruce Lee saying, empty yourself or empty your mind. It talks about that Buddha, that principle of how can you really clear it up. Now, when I'm talking to the larger audience or giving a one-on-one consultation to people, I'm very clearly mentioning to this, you cannot just empty your mind. If you really force yourself to empty your mind, there's a very high percentage of chance that you will end up in a mental hospital. Yeah. So my kind request, anybody who's listening now, try not to empty your mind. Yeah. But what can be done if we go back, this cup, let's say in this kettle, and don't judge me, don't judge my knowledge by my drawing skills of a kettle. If this kettle is containing, let's say coffee, that's around tea time, coffee time. So it contains the coffee. So when it will be pouring on the cup will be filled with coffee, right? But if this jar containing, let's say, an iron or buttermilk or pure water, the cup will be filled with pure water. Now imagine you are walking in under this kettle with a cup half filled with coffee, but this kettle is now filled with the buttermilk. So eventually when the things will be poured, the liquid will be poured from the kettle, you will have what? Coffee blended with buttermilk. Please don't try to taste that. It will be horrible. And that what happens exactly when we step into spiritual practice. We definitely, we don't go with our cup full. That's what I would like to believe. And then things start pouring and we are like, it doesn't make sense. I'm doing my sun salutation and all the anulom vilom. I come home and I'm fighting with my partner. The kids are more irritating. I hate my job more. I am even secretly planning to kill my boss. And so many things are crossing in my mind. Yeah, but I am doing so many om chanting and yoga, nidra, and so on and so forth. Something must be wrong somewhere, that something is not sinking in. Yeah, that's the valley of doubt. And unfortunately, what differentiates between a pro and an amateur in life, or an athlete, or in any field, is this: our ability to survive the transition from this valley of doubt when things doesn't make any whatsoever sense. We don't see what we are aiming at. Everything looks blurry, and there's no whatsoever meaning in what we are doing. And this was experienced by Arjuna in the battlefield, right? Standing in front of the grandfather, the cousin, and everything, he was going through a neurosis and asking to Krishna, why the hell I have to fight? Man, these are my loved ones. I want to spend my life with them. And now I have to kill these people to get back my territory. There's no meaning to this. Well, of course, then Krishna gave the certain advices. Hello? You guys still there? Welcome back. So we started talking about time travel and you just flew away. Okay. So, yeah. So then Krishna gave his share of advisors and wisdom that you have to follow your dharma. Dharma is that that headlamp that we put on while hiking in the dark through a forest. We don't know what is there in the end of it. We don't see much, but we just can see the 10 steps in front of us. So we know where am I going to put my next step and my next step and my next step. And because there is this philosophy, like how they say, the sailor never sees the shore. But the sailor knows one thing, that the compass is pointed towards the North Star. And if the compass is correct, he knows in one day he's going to reach to that destination. And that's the faith in the process. In the same manner, when we are taking steps through and we glide through the transition and the transformation, it makes so much more sense that if we can have a set of practices to tolerate that valley of doubt. Now, if the tea arrives in the right time, if you continue to pour more on the cup, eventually what will happen, things will overflow and the cocktail of the coffee and the buttermilk will fade away, and whatever is there in the teapot will be filled with the cup, and you will become that. And this is the key knowledge, at least as per me, that defines a successful spiritual aspirant or a spiritual aspirant who has transformed their life through spirituality, is this, that they didn't give up. In that valley of doubt, they continued their practice, and the practice showed the impact in due time. Now, leaving the theory apart, we said, okay, empty yourself. And how can we do this whole process of emptying oneself? And what exactly does this mean, emptying oneself? Because the moment when you will have complete thoughtlessness for an extended period of time, yeah, that is long after you have said goodbye to your loved ones, you're dead. We are alive, our mind will be flooded with thoughts, with images, with colors, with many things. This is human. I'm not talking about a micro mini percentage of enlightened masters who can empty their mind. And I think you will relate with me that neither me nor you are an enlightened being. In that case, you will not be here to listen to this talk. Neither I'll be talking to you. So if we are not enlightened, we have belonged to that human category where our mind will have content for a certain amount of time. So Patanjali, this great yogi, lived plus minus 2,600 years back. He suggested this one formula, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. You need to stop your mental fluctuation, the ripples in your mind. Yeah? He never said don't think. He said just be careful if you don't want to create a ripple. Like, let's say, as I'm doing this presentation, all of a sudden the next slide pops up as a Belgium chocolate ice cream with some choco chips on top of it and very, dripping, nice few scoops of chocolate. Depending on your relationship with the chocolate, which I think it's very sattvic, you will have an feeling like, yeah, I want one. Oh no, God, no, I don't want this. I have decided I am gonna give up sweets and stuff like that. So it will be either raga or dvesha. You will get attracted to it, or you will get disturbed by it. No, don't tempt me. No, not today. I am not falling for this trap. So Patanjali talks about something else. He's neither saying that stop thinking. He says, can you become neutral? When you look at the chocolate, oh, okay, it's chocolate ice cream. So what? Next slide, please. And you move to the next one. So your inner space is not shaken by it, not disturbed by it. And that stage when we reach in life, by the way, You can replace the chocolate with while you're in the window shopping. It could be while we go for scrolling, or for food, or for money, or for a car, or for a big house, or for any damn thing that shakes us. So he's suggesting to remain certain amount of detached and neutral, that our mind is not going to create a ripple. Now, what happens when there is no ripple on the water? It becomes like a mirror. We start seeing the reflection of the entire sky, on a still lake, and we understand our true, deeper nature. Now, this is literally hard for me, and especially as I'm working mostly with the Westerners, to tell them anything which is a non-consumer philosophy. In the West, there's a predominant philosophy is the bigger the better, the more is the better. If you why do you have money? To spend it, to buy more stuff. And this consumer mindset can be put a pause, and we can look back that they are not going to bring satisfaction in us. So to create some space, very challenging to create space in the mind. Nevertheless, if we can successfully do that, we will reach to the second stage, which is the understanding about kleshas. The kleshas are not what is bugging me, not what is troubling me, but the root cause of the problem. And the root cause of our problems, if we understand that every time I'm passing through in front of a Zara or H&M or whatever the shop I go, and I feel like going in and picking up a new dress, it's not exactly that I need a dress, but the something in me tells me, and I'm speculating right now completely, that I will be more worthy if I put on myself a new dress. Or if I go and order a great meal and I eat that, the emptiness in me will be filled up, Or it can help me to time travel. Every time I'm eating a chocolate ice cream, I remember walking hand in hand with my grandfather when he used to help me get me an ice cream on the way back from the school. I don't know what is the trigger point, but if I understand that, this is the root. The chocolate ice cream is not the problem. The problem is the missing of that emotion, or the feeling of more worthy, or certain things. That's what is can help me to understand that, now I'm not going to suffer more. So if we can understand this, the root cause of our suffering, then we automatically reach to the next stage, which is this. And I'm moving at a very fanatic speed right now, so bear with me. Which is Swadhyay, self-study. Not the scriptures, not the Bible, not Ramayana, not Mahabharata, not chanting Hanuman Chalisa, not reading any hymn or something. But now, finally, when I look at the mirror, I see who I am, not I see who the society, my parents, my partner, or the social media influencer wants me to be. This is a stage of enormous power, because now finally I know who I am, and because I know who I am, I also know what makes meaning in my life, what makes sense in my life, and what do I aspire for. So the ancient scriptures, they will always guide you in one way or the other, either through the prayers or the practicing of the pranayama, or do your yoga asanas, or perform the regular dinacharya, do whatever it takes, but the aim are these three. First, you make your mind calm to an extent. you allow the content of your mind to precipitate, so you can get to see the reflection of what is coming from the depth, aka what are the cause of your suffering. Once you come closer to know what you're suffering, you get to know your software and your hardware better. And now it's not only that you're holding in your hand iPhone 16, you also know exactly how to use it optimally. Otherwise, okay, you have a latest phone in your hand, but you have no clue or very little clue about how to optimally use the gadget, right? So that's this product knowledge gets developed about who we are, our spiritual inner architecture. That's a very key area to be understood. And when that happens, our perception to life changes, and most likely we will also start seeing the solution. When we see a problem, not at the level of symptom, but at the level of the roots, we are bound to see the solution. Also, not to eliminate the symptomatic aspect of it, but the causal aspect of it. What is causing me the problem? Yeah. So this is the philosophical part. Whatever I have said right now, you can say, okay, Avi, enough is enough. I knew pretty much all this theory. What can I do? What is my actionable thing that I can take away from this small talk that we had today? So these are my suggestions, which I humbly going to present to you. See which of these you can blend in your life. Now, before you make an attempt to calm, to bring this chitta vritti nirodha, the cessation of the patterns of the mind, of the chitta, which is the ocean of consciousness, to reach to that stage, you need to be relaxed. Now, let's not confuse relaxation equals to that you are on your couch, your legs are up on the table, you are sipping your cocktail or your soft drinks and watching a Netflix series. No, that's distraction, which is good. I'm not against the idea, but that's not relaxation. The distraction and relaxation are completely different things. Yeah. So how do we relax? And one of the ancient advice is super clear that we need to learn to relax consciously. Sleep is good. Let's not deny the importance of sleep. Few good hours of a solid, deep sleep can help you to maintain your physical, mental health optimally. But then there is something more that you can do, which takes about 15-20 minutes a day and can give you a very deep access to your mind, much beyond than relaxation, where you can take out all the metabolic waste. Like you go to the toilet on a daily basis, I hope, to take out the garbage out of your body. Whatever you are taking out of your system, by the way, let's pay also attention to this. Those things are not necessarily a bad product. You ate something to bring nourishment to you, but you cannot process everything. What you cannot process has to leave the body. That's waste product. Same thing happens to the food that we are constantly consuming through our eyes, through our ears, through our skin, through our 5 senses. Yeah, all the ahara you're consuming, they also need to go through a metabolism, and then some you have to purge out. Some of the ideas, some of the thoughts you have to vent out. And when you can successfully do that, we all know that the feeling of lightness, if we have a good bowel movement, I'm sorry to say this so graphically, you feel lighter, the body feels more prepared, and you create that metaphorically speaking. Now the cup is empty. You can contain more. So the first practice, takeaway, RX, relaxation with yoga nidra. You have wonderful teachers at IVAC, I know this. So no excuse till your last day. Don't skip the yoga nidra class. And then if you want, you can find plenty of proper yoga nidras in the YouTube, and you start practicing it. 20 minutes. If you are having a high pitta, you're a very agitated person, try to practice 20 minutes of yoga nidra, 15 minutes of yoga nidra, even being on a chair prior to your lunch. And you will find a lot of benefit. There will be no compulsive eating. Your metabolism will improve. Your assimilation will improve. So many benefits will be there. Your relationship with food will change, actually. Or you can do it when you finish your day, in the evening, you log out, and now your family, your kids, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, doesn't matter. A life is waiting outside your office, outside your laptop screen, and it says, okay, I'm gonna go out this evening for a movie, for a drink. Can you leave your office back at the office? Can you not carry your problems in your carry bag and go for a date? That would be a very big achievement. So what do? What I'm recommending to any elite corporate people, when you close your laptop, that's not the time when you should go home. That's the preparation for going home. It's just like when you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes and you don't teleport yourself to the work. You wait, you take a shower, you have your coffee, you have your breakfast, you put on your dress, and then you log in, and there's a process. In the same manner, when you close your laptop, when you log out from your laptop, that there still should be some time before you leave your office. Whether it's a home office or you work from 50 kilometers away from home, that's secondary. What you do in those few minutes, you sit, you do some pranayama to release the metabolic waste from your energy. You want to go home with a different energy. If possible, 5 minutes of pranayama and 10 minutes of yoga nidra, you are a new person. You will be like, okay, let's do it. I am full of life now. I'm not like a long patient carrying all the stress and the tension. So this is a very good doable thing to do. Then on a weekly basis, study yourself. And this can be like, what exactly am I supposed to do? How can I study myself? Which body part should I start with? Start with, once in a week, take an hour, if you can, for yourself, which I know it can be luxury, to sit with yourself, ask, what are my priorities in life? What really matters? My family? Maybe. My kids? Maybe. My job? Maybe. Assign them prioritize them. And what are my non-negotiables? What are those values and principles that I'm not going to negotiate this week? What are the weaknesses? And when I say weaknesses, there is nothing as such weaknesses. There are some habits, like bugs in your software. They try to slow down your processor. What are those things that are slowing down my progress? Could be overconsumption of sweets, could be too much time in the social media, could be all the time wondering what others will say, or why I'm not getting a validation from the other people. There can be a thousand different things that can create us slowing down. So that has to be understood. And then you realign your compass. Consider yourself as a sailor in the middle of the ocean, and you want to align your compass with the North Star because you don't see yet, most likely, where you want to be. So having the faith that I trust the process, and I'm going to do this once a week, and it's good enough for you to return back. Then something practice, which I think the wonderful doctors in IVAC will already talk to you, and they might have talked to you, is the practice of dinacharya. Yeah. So dinacharya is the doing the daily housekeeping. You have to do a housekeeping for your body. You have to do housekeeping for your breathing system, and you have to do housekeeping for your behavior. There are 3 B's: body, breath, behavior. This you have to remember. You write down in your mind what you want to do for your body. Body requires 3 things. First, the body needs rest. Second, the body needs movement. And third, the body needs, what did I say? Rest, movement. Third is the nutrition. These are the 3 things you offer to the body. Your body will be your most obedient servant. You skip on any one of those. You're resting very well. You take every day 12 hours of sleep, but then when you wake up, you prefer to munch on things that you shouldn't be eating too much. Your life is gonna take you for a spin. We know this, like we have lived a life for a few years already. So make sure you don't exploit in one of these areas. Do something for your body. Do something for your movement. Movement means you don't have to do necessarily asanas. Walking is good. Swimming is good. Moving around the house is good. If you can do asanas, that is even more better because it's more wholesome. Choose variety. Someday you do kickboxing, someday you do walking, someday you do tai chi, someday you do whatever. Be playful, but do some movement and then offer the right nourishment. Yeah. And I provide them in this 3 sequence. The most important is the resting part. If you compromise on the resting, there can be no exercise that can compensate a non-resting state. If I may say this, and I know this is this anti-industrial era theory, the most important part of your day is when you're sleeping. Because that is when you are becoming who you are. So don't compromise, don't sabotage yourself, don't do those sleep deprivation and Netflix junking things and stuff. And once you are well rested, then movement makes sense. And only when a rested body does proper movement, then nourishment will make sense. If you're eating the right food, but without any movement and without resting, forget it. And this I say, not only that, what I work on myself, I work with a large number of pro athletes and elite corporate people who always needed to deliver their A game. And in this one-on-one coaching sessions that I do, the consultations that I do, this is what they maintain. And this is their bedrock. This is their non-negotiable aspect of life. You have to do an housekeeping for your breathing, meaning your breath is an indicator of your mind. It tells you, are you upset? Are you happy? Are you distracted? So learn how to breathe properly. Few minutes of conscious breathing. I'm not asking you to do Anulom Vilom or Kapalbhati or something, but becoming conscious of your breath can already push you towards your A game. And third, keeping an eye on your behavior. So in the end of the day, if you're still left with some energy, can you review your day? Can you ask, if tomorrow I get to confront the same situations again, what increment of positive behavior can I bring in? How can I participate in that same activity a little better? Okay. So in this way, you upgrade your behavioral system as well. It's not an instinctive response to life. We do that. We all the time do that. We're very instinctively responding to the life, not necessarily, instinctively reacting to life, not responding. Yeah. So these are the things that you can adopt, and I hope you to have a very nourishing, fulfilling, and joyful life. Thank you.